Greetings, WordPressers. In today's show, we are going to take a blank starter kit template and turn it into a beautiful, brand new, custom designed website. Jakson here. Welcome to my channel. This is where I share my tips, tricks, and tutorials all about WordPress. And if WordPress is your thing, I do encourage you to subscribe if you're new here, and check out the description below. Of course, it always has the info, the links, and the other blurb about all the stuff we're going to be going through in today's training session. Plus, it has a link to download my new free Elementor starter theme called Cento version 2. It's free. Grab yourself a copy. The link's in the description. All right, let's get on with the show. We are going to take a blank starter kit. So this is a framework for a design, and we're going to build out a brand new custom design website during this WordPress training. Now, it's a little bit of a long one, so bear with it. We will take one of Cento's blank starter kits. It's the one-page scrolling site. It has all the menus and footers and copyrights and all the structure that you need to give you a flying start to quickly get on with customizing it with your own content. Now, I've done a bit of homework. I've got some images, I've got text, I've got copy, I've got font ideas, but we're actually going to build the whole thing from scratch, start to finish. So let's get on with this WordPress training today. An entire site from a blank starter kit with the new Cento theme. Okay, we are going to build from scratch a theme using one of Cento's blank starter kits. It's going to be a one-page site. As I was saying, the brief was for this new bakery cafe called Jones. And let's go take a look at the brief. I've got the folder with all the various assets that I put together for the website. First up, we're going to look at these notes that I've made. Now, the original brief was we want a one-page site. It's got to have a welcome section with the lunch and contact number very prominent. Then a section about the cafe with a gallery and a menu download. Another section about the bread and again a menu download and another gallery. About us section with the team members and a bit of a mini bio. And then the contact us section with a form and opening times and things like that. So that's all pretty cool. Then we need to talk about the style of the site, because remember, this is being made from scratch. So the style is modern typography, very simple color palettes, real focus on imagery and atmosphere and the experience that you might have when you went into this cafe, and good, clear information throughout. So that's a pretty good starting point. But obviously, if you were going to design something using a blank template or a blank page starting from scratch, you could in fact design it all in the browser. That's what I do most of the time these days. But for this session, I thought I'd knock up a bit of a wireframe so that you can kind of get an idea of what's going on in my head. So let's have a look at that wireframe. I'll just flick over to that. You'll see that I've built this. This is in wireframe.cc. Very simple wireframing bit of kit. I'll leave a link in the description. And you see that I've got the different sections that we spoke about on the brief here. Welcome. This is the sort of hero section here, followed by the cafe section with the gallery and the download. Same with the bread. More information, bullet points, another download link, smaller gallery, then the about section with the team members on there, a bit of a bio about the business. Contact us with the details and all that sort of jazz, and a copyright with some socials and all the rest of it. I just wanted to show you that just so you know kind of what I'm aiming for. But like I said, with just the very brief outline of the sections, that's the sort of thing that I would normally sort of kind of almost keep in my head and just build that out as the page developed. All right, so there is our brief. We've also got the copy, which is for all the sections. So we've got all the copy to use and paste in as necessary, all the different sections. I've had a little think about fonts and decided on Work Sans Pro. Now the chalkboard, we'll get to that in a minute, because the brief was to have a chalkboardy type of display on the hero section, and the body I think we should stick with Work Sans Pro. Very slick, crispy font. And of course, no modern website would be complete without a ton of good quality images. And we'll see we have here a ton of really good stuff and all sorts of cool imagery to play around with. We're going to pick which ones we feel best for each section as we go through it. Plus there's the galleries for the cafe section, the bread section, and the team members' portraits. Of course, we've got the logo and some other bits and pieces. Okay, so let's get on. Let's install our theme. Let's set it up and let's get theming. Rightio, let us go and install our theme. Now, the one we're going to be using for this website is the completely blank starter kit number 3, and that's a one-page scrolling site. Let's go take a look at that on the Cento demo site. And there you go. You can see we've got a very simple one-pager, but it's already kind of built out for you. So you've got all the links, the anchor links to glide to the where you want to go. It's got the menu set up. It's got all the sections pretty much ready to go to save you a ton of time when building out a brand new custom design from scratch. Okay, so, and yeah, of course, we've got things like the mobile slide panel is already in place. So we've got the menus and everything set up ready to give us a real flying start with this custom design that we're going to build right in the browser. Okay, let's get this theme installed. You see we have a fresh install of WordPress here. It's just a blank vanilla install. We'll go to the WordPress admin, and again, completely brand new, fresh install of WordPress. We're going to go to Appearance, Themes, and we're going to add new, and we're going to click the Upload Theme button, which will allow us to choose the file, and that will be our latest version of Cento theme. I'm going to open that and click Install Now. And once that's installed, we can click the Activate Now link. And there we go. We've got the Cento theme setup page. We've got the 4 steps that are required for your journey with this theme, which is watch the 2-minute tutorial. Hope you've done that. Next is install the required base plugins. Then we're going to choose the demo site template, and then we're going to get theming. So let's do the step 2, which is install the base plugins. Let's click that. Once they're installed, we'll get the green All Done Now button, which means we can choose our template. And we're going to go and choose demo number 3, the starter kit one page. Let's click Import now. Click Yes, Import. And that's it. We're done. We are literally ready to go. Let's go back to our front end on Firefox and give that a refresh and see what we're looking like. It should be exactly like our demo, which it is. We've got all the sections and the scrolling and the blank page ready to customize the hell out of. So let's get back to the WordPress admin and let's get some theming done. Right, let's go back to the admin and let's just save our permalinks. Always a good thing to do. And we're going to go straight to the customizer. We're going to update the site branding. Let's go to Cento Theme Customizer. We're going to go to the site identity and select a logo. We're going to upload our Jones the Baker logo. Let's get that in place. We'll select that. And we do not need to crop it. Let's just get it in there. Logo in. Let's go to the title, which is Jones. And the tagline would be bakery and cafe for the time being. I'm sure we can get something a little bit more SEO friendly. The other thing we need to do is remove some of these global sections. You see, we've got the top row, the below header, there's probably the above footer and things like that. These are just there to kind of show you on the blank template exactly what they can be used for, but we don't need them for this design. So let's go to our global sections part of the customizer. Let's remove the top row. Let's remove the below header. Let's remove the above footer. We'll edit the footer as a global section because it's good to have that on other pages like the 404 page or the privacy policy, etc. Okay, so that's cool. We also need to just do a little bit of work with the menu because we've got 4 sections on the blank template. So let's go to, we've actually got 5. Let's go back to our thing. We've got 5 sections here. So the welcome is the home, the cafe. So we need to change all these up a little bit. Let's get that sorted out. So let's go to menus and we'll go to main menu. We'll keep the home. We'll change about to the cafe. And change the URL to a cafe anchor tag. We'll have to change that on the page as well. So just be aware of that. We'll get the services changed to, and that would be our bread. And we'll just change that as well so we can know what we're doing. We also need a new item for the about now because we've robbed that for the cafe. So we'll add an item. It'll be a custom link and it will be # about us. Let's just have it as about. Add to menu, and we'll need to move that up above the contact. There you go. Okay, so our work in the customizer is done. Let's get back to the, well, let's publish that and let's get back to the admin. Okay, that's where we left the admin. So let's go to our pages now, because the next thing we need to do is go to our home page, not the Elementor editing screen, but the regular WordPress screen. And we need to use the function, it's a Cento preference for a page where we put the Navbar in front of the content. So it kind of sits in front of the image for our hero that we're planning to have. So you simply just click this preference here on and press update. And that will place the Navbar right in front of the top element. And in this case, it will be our hero image. So once that's saved, we can now jump into Elementor and get customizing. All right, so here's our page. Now you see how the navbar text is now white and it seems to be squidged up a bit. That's because we've got the content behind nav preference set. So the first thing we're going to do, we're just going to clear out all the content from this first section, this section here. So let's just delete that and delete that headline. And let's reselect that section and let's get the image in the background. We're going to turn off that background color and get our image in, and so we've got a little something to play with. Let's go find our image. Okay, upload files. We're going to select the file, go find our main images. Now, if we have a scan down, there was one that I saw earlier, which was the cafe view, which is what I thought would suit the hero at the very top. Let's have a look at that in place. Let's insert that. Okay, you see how we've got this very thin hero at the moment. We need to change the section so that its layout is set to the height of fit to screen. Now this will basically on desktops and tablets will magically make the section fill the screen, which always looks amazingly cool. So that's our picture in. We need to style that a little bit further by dropping an overlay on it. And that'll just be a plain black overlay at around about 50%. Instantly, we've got a slightly better canvas to work with. Okay, next up, let's go back to our mock, and just so you know what I'm thinking, is that we need to get these sections in here. So we need 2 columns. Let's get back to Elementor. Let me quickly update that. And let's see where our column is. Okay, so inside of that, I think we should put an inner section so that we can control that a little better. Is that? I think there's a little spacer in there as well, which doesn't need to be in there. Okay, that's better. So we can actually then select the column structure that we want for that, and I want that 2/3 and 1/3. Okay, next up we need to put in, let's go and look at our mock. We've got to put in our text and this lunchtime specials chalkboard challenge. Okay, let's go get the text. Let's get back to our copy. So the welcome section should be, I reckon, the logo. So let's go grab an image, stick that in column 1, choose our logo, insert that, massive. Let's get that 50% and let's align that left. And we need our tagline in there as well. So we'll get our tagline, which is bakery and cafe, and we're just going to use plain text tagging that in there. It's going to be white and it's going to be a lot bigger. So let's get onto the typography and get that around there. Talking of typography, what we also need to do is set up the global fonts for this website. And let me just do a quick update, and we can go to the Elementor main menu, and we go for default fonts. We're going to make everything work sans, including the secondary, the body, and the accent. Okay, that's all we need to do. Apply that. That will be there throughout the site now. Okay, let's find that other text. Here we go. We want this, duplicate that. Let's get our plain text pasted in. Obviously needs to be a little bit smaller. We also need to sort out the spacing here. So I'm just going to put in a negative margin on the top of that, bring that up closer. I think that Jones could probably go up a little bit as well. Let's make that maybe 60. That looks a little better. Let's get this padding, so this margin better. So it looks a bit more like a sort of design logo, and we'll do the same with this. I think that actually might be a little bit too big. Let's take that down to 20, and let's get the line height just on 1.2. It's better. And let's bring that up with a negative margin to get that spacing feeling like it should be. Okay, perfect. Now, next we have this requirement where we need to put in a chalkboard. Now, I've got a background which I have handily got as a chalkboard. So I reckon we can try and muck around with that. So let's have a go at putting an image in there. Background image. Let us first up, we'll put in some text. Let's go grab, actually, let's just take some fresh text, put that in there. We can just play with this for the time being. We'll need it white so we can see what we're doing. Right, on this column here, I'm going to make that some padding, maybe 30. And then we need to get the background on it. Now, this is what I'm talking about with this chalkboard. Let's see how this offers up. We might need to sort of tweak the position of it or something like that. Let's see how it feels. Let's get that in there. Insert that. Okay, so we've got our background. So obviously the position is, let's go center. Okay, we need to put the size as cover, so that'll make it kind of like smaller. That's cool. And I think we need, maybe we'll put a black overlay just to tone it down just a little bit. Let's get the color black on there. Yeah, that's much, much better. And so I did find a chalky font. So let's get this text. See what that looks like with this chalky font that I've got. In fact, let's get the text for it so that we can kind of get a good feel for it. Let's paste that in as plain text. And let's get the style going with this. Maybe get that a little larger. Okay, this is already feeling like it's going to work. Right, that font was Cabin Sketch. Okay, Cabin Sketch, do your thing. Cabin Sketch, are you? Yes. Okay, we can go bigger on the font. Today's specials, let's get that in the middle. Yeah, liking that. Maybe a border. Does that need margin around it? Is that what it is? Yeah. That is what it is. Okay, so we'll come back to the text in a second. Let's get a border on that and see if we can make it more like a chalkboard. So we'll get onto our style and go to the border section. And We won't, maybe we will have a bit of border radius, but we'll have a solid line about, let's try 3. And the color, maybe darker, maybe sort of brownish. Thicker perhaps, thicker. Maybe too thick. Okay, the brown's working, but it looks a little bit brown. Now maybe if we just gave it some transparency, see how, yeah, there you go. He's got some texture to it with the image behind it sort of coming through, i.e. the chalkboard, so that even though it's a bit of a blag, it kind of looks like it works. Let's give it slightly more radius. Yeah, that's great. Okay, let's work on this text. Now, I think that needs to be bigger. So let's get that up to something like that. And let's get the line height there. Okay, let's get in. Just try a teeny bit smaller. I think that works, actually. Let's keep it there. Okay, next up, let's just duplicate that and get in this other text, which is the kind of the actual specials. Hope you've eaten, folks, because this stuff looks delicious. Let's just get rid of those lines. Let's put some paragraph tags in there. So that's cool. Now, obviously, that needs to be way smaller because we've got to fit in the phone number and stuff. So let's get that down to sort of, I don't know, probably 16, no, 17, 18. 18 looks good. Okay, what else do we have in there? Let's just duplicate that. So we need another section for the lunch orders part. Let's get that in. Paste that as plain text. Okay, liking that. That could actually be smaller. Let me make that. See if we can get that kind of almost on one line. And we also need to pull this up with some negative margin. That will do. Right, lunch order. So that kind of needs to be a bit. I wonder if this padding is too much on here. Kind of feeling that is a little bit too much because we don't need that much space. Okay, that'll do. That can go bigger. Let's get that in. It can go up a couple of points. And let's just have a quick view of that. Yes, that is looking very good. Now, I think this background overlay on this section needs to be darker slightly. I think we need to be about up around maybe around the 7 mark. No, too much. Okay, that's better. Right, back to this lunch orders. Let's get that a little teeny bit bigger. Can we stretch it? Oh no, we can't quite get it there. It's possible that we need to just slightly customize the column widths there. Right, we've got the last section of this chalkboard, and that is the call number. Let's see if we can get that nice and big so that it's a proper call to action for the call. Let's see how big we can make this. Let's get this up to. Okay, that's great. And that lunch, I think, can come up a little tiny couple of points. 1 point. Let's drag that with a reverse margin. Let's get that. Okay. Let's pull that up. I think this is now too small, isn't it? Let's get that larger. Just feels like it's not really getting the point across. And maybe it might be just a little bit too tight against that thing now, against the that other part now. Let's give that some space so it feels like you can read it. Okay, yeah, that's looking good. Let's update that. Let's just have a preview of that. Yep, looking really, really cool. Looking very good. Maybe we just need a little bit of space at the top of that one. Let's just get that margin top, just so it's got a bit of breathing space at the top there. Maybe we can we up that a point? Or 2, or 3, or even 4. That's even better. Okay, cool. Okay, update and save. We shall go on to the next section, which is the cafe. Right, cafe it is. Let's get this text doc a little bit in the middle here. Right, here's the cafe section. So we need a gallery on the left and this text on the right. If you remember let's go have a quick look at that. That's our cafe section right there. So pretty simple stuff. Let's see what we got. Well, first up, we need to make sure we got our section name correctly. So on our section, which used to be the About section, we have the CSS ID of About. We want to change that to Cafe. If you remember, we changed that in the menu. Okay, let's update that straight away and let us delete all this current content. And we'll just delete that one as well. Okay, so that's our About. Let's actually remove that. Let's remove the text. We've just got a spacer in there currently. Right, let's think about, oh, hang on, there's a section there that needs to go as well. Right, layout. We need an inner section inside of that. So let's go get that from the element library. We're going to put an inner section inside of our single column, just so we can control that a bit better and give that the correct proportions, 2/3, 1/3. I'm going to now delete that space. I don't need that. Just want to check the padding and stuff on this. Yeah, we just need to 0 all of that. So we've got a nice starting point. And what we need to do is decide kind of what vibe we're going for this next section. It is a gallery section, and it would be nice to have some contrast between the two. I'm just going to throw in a spacer so to get a little bit of height on here just for the time being, while we get some content in. Scrolling down to this section, yeah, it might go white. Let's have a play with it. Let's get an image gallery in there. Now on our mock, on our wireframe, we had roughly 3 columns, and I think we'll go for the 350 square option that comes with the Cento theme. Order by default, that's fine. Lightbox, yes, because we want to see them pop up. Right, better get some images in there. Now, as you know, we did have the cafe images here. So let's go and let's open that up and get all of those guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's upload those. And we can create our gallery. In they all go. Okay, great. We can create our new gallery. And if we want to move those around, maybe we can just get some slight variations on the types of things we're showing. Let's maybe get that up there. Okay, that'll do for now. Insert that gallery. Okay, that's cool. Let's have a play with this style now. And I'm thinking we definitely need some spacing on there. Let's try 15. Let's try 20. Yeah, kind of feeling that. It feels a little bit tall. Let's try messing around with these column widths, see if they bring that in. Yeah, that actually feels much better. I think we just might need to just have a look at the image size, because we could actually make them a little bit more letterbox, and that would actually reduce the sort of height of it. And let's have a look. Let's get our text in there. So go to elements and grab some text, stick him in there. Don't need that spacer anymore. And we'll get a header and stick that there too. Just going to change the default colors to something more in keeping with the vibe. That'll do for now. Let's go back to our header and let's get our text in. Cafe section. So it's our cafe. The cafe. And let's get our text in. Not too much for that particular part. Let's paste that in as plain text and update that. Get a little bit of padding on that column. Let's try 30. And also in that section, let's make the vertical align middle. And let's have a look, see how that feels. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Not completely convinced about the vertical alignment. So let's get that back to default. Let's maybe try some uppercase on there. And let us have a look at the typography. So the typography is the default font family, which was Work Sans. Let's just change the weight to something there. That's better. Let's get the size. Okay. That's starting to feel a little better. And I think with the text, can we just do on the default fonts? I think I'm kind of feeling all the default fonts should be on that slightly thinner vibe. Yeah, I'm liking that already. Yeah, that looks a lot more classier. So now we can get back to this text and we can, I think, give that a bit more size and then it'll feel more like a, don't go crazy, it'll feel more like a presentation rather than just some boring old paragraph. I think a bit of padding on that. A bit of padding on that text, just to kind of see, bring it in under the T slightly. And we may need to go with a colour on the body text that's slightly darker than what I had. Just leave that there for a sec. Is that too light? Oh, we don't know. Well, first things first, let's put a bit of padding on the bottom of that, or a bit of margin on the bottom of that, just so that while before we're working on the next section. Now, I'm thinking actually, I'm going to try these back at the thumbnail size, the square size. Yeah, I do. I do prefer the square size. It's like we need more rows. We need like 4. We need 4 by 4, don't we? Let's go find a couple more pictures. Maybe on the main images. We open that up, and then maybe something about. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, we would go chess, and we'll go. We're using that. So cafe, menu, and chess. Let's go find those and add them to this gallery. One more. Chess and coffee and bread. Let's go. Let's get them in. I think that will make all the difference. Let's go add some more images. Upload files. Select files. from the main images. It was chess, menu, and let's grab that one. Let's open those. Uploading those now, and let's add them to the gallery. And maybe just switch them around just a teeny bit. A little bit of variety, cool. Let's insert that gallery. Oh, and we need to change the style, sorry, the columns to 4. Get that back to where it was. Now that I'm feeling is very much nicer. And let's get some more top and bottom margin. Maybe we go 20 on that. I'm just going to throw this right off the bottom for the time being, so the services part is not getting in our way. I'm just going to kill off the padding in there. No. Okay, let's have a look. Let's update that and have a look at that. On the Elementor preview, let's have a look. Yes, not bad, not bad. I think we might need some buttons in here to sort of guide the user through the page, just to help them along if they find themselves in a place. In the same way that the menu does it, we should have some buttons just to guide the user experience. Okay, so the cafe section for me is cool for the time being. Let's get on to the next section, which should be bold. Our bread. Okay, one thing I have noticed is that we do need to actually change the color of our drop-in sticky menu. So let's go, just going to open a new tab, go to Cento and Customizer. And if we just scroll down, we'll see the sticky nav come into play. Now, if we go to the Navbar, we can change that color to black, and I think that's more in keeping. Try 1s or 2s just to keep it slightly up. No, I think 1s. Cool. Okay, that's all I wanted to do there. So back to Elementor, and we are going to go on to the bread section. Okay, so here we're going to have, let's have a little peek at our wireframe. So we were going to go for headline and blurb, then the bullet points, and then, oh, we forgot the download cafe menu button on the cafe part. Let's get that in. So let's grab a button and stick it on that layout. We'll go to the elements and slam the button underneath there. We'll change that to download cafe menu, or even menu, and we'll sort the styling out. The text is going to be black. The border type is solid. It's going to be 1px. It's going to be black, and we are going to make sure there is no radius on that. Oh, actually, the background color needs to be transparent or white. Let us check the typography. We'll just drop that down to our 300. And that's cool. Right, now we can get on with the bread. Let's get our notes up. So we've got the bread section here. Okay, so we need to have a quick look at our wireframe and see what's going on in our mind's eye. So let's have a look at our bread. Okay, we've got the 2 columns and the horizontal gallery there. Let's go and get rid of the content that's already there. We'll just get rid of the pretend gallery. We'll delete the text and the headline. And instead, we'll get a inner section slapped inside there, 2 parts. We'll copy our cafe header and stick it in there. And the text. And we're going to need some more text that side. And we'll get the button as well while we're at it. Let's slam that in. Let's get our real text in there. Well, actually, I'll tell you what, let's go get the image in there, because I think we want a background image here to get the contrast between the white and the previous section. So Let's highlight that section and go grab an image. Well, I tell you what, let us get all the images for the bread section. Let's upload those. Select files, and we want the bread images. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And one of those should do as the background. Let's see what we've got. So lots of bread, lots of bread. What about the one with, yeah, the guy in the oven? Perfect. Let's see what that looks like. Right, first up, we're going to need the overlay on there. Let's make that a standard black overlay. Color is black. Transparency might be okay. Let's just put that up to 6. And let us get some margin or some padding on that section. Let's delete what's there, and top will go 60 and bottom will go 60. Just so it kind of breathes a little bit. We give ourselves a bit of a head start there. Okay, next up, we're going to need to get all these in a better style, and of course, the actual correct text. Let's get that in. Let's style that while we're at it. White. Let's go find our text. It's all this stuff is on the left-hand side. I'm thinking. Let's paste that in as plain text. Let's style that white. Make that one white, and this is different text, isn't it? So this is this natural ingredients and all the good stuff. Let's get rid of the dashes that were there to indicate a list, but we'll actually make it a proper unordered list. Let's put some carriage returns in and turn that into an ordered list. Let's style that up with some white text and probably bigger, I think. Let's just try. Let's go 24. Now the button is all needs to be white. Let me just reselect that. Download the bread menu is what we want to call it. We'll get the PDFs in there in due course. Let's get that text white and the color white, and just check the size on 300, isn't it? Oh no, it's not. It's on. Is that one on 300? Let's double check. Come on. Oh, no, it's not. Let's get that onto 300. Thought we did that. Right. Let's give that an update. Now, this to me looks like it should be slightly more to the right. Let's put some margin left on there to make it go right. Let's try 50. A little bit too much. Let's get it under that S. So that's okay. We'll take a view on that in a second. Let's update that. Save, 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 save. Okay, now, gallery. Let's get another intersection in. We'll slide that down the bottom there. And we'll lose one of those columns. And we'll go grab our image gallery, throw that into that new section, and we're going to add some images. And we're going to take all of the, not the dude, he needs to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's grab that one as well. Create that gallery. Let's move that fella over there. That will be just fine. Let's insert that. We need to get this as 6. That sorts out those. And I just want to sort out the margin on this column. Let's see if we can drag the edges to the left and right to align them with the text. Is it 10 or is it 15? Let's have a look. It's 10. Okay, that looks good. I think we are done. Okay, we just need to sort out this background image. It didn't actually set the style of the size. We actually want that to cover the whole thing. Yeah, that is tons better. Right, let's look at the margins now on the main section. I think we can drop down to maybe 40 and 40. That feels nicer. Still room to breathe there. Right, these can go up a little bit, I think. Maybe we can add a little padding to the top in just a second. Let's just... Actually, no, let's just keep that on 24. Let's add the padding first. Yeah, that feels a little better. But then I think we need to push that margin at the bottom. Actually, let's rejig that so we get a little bit of nicer spacing. That's cool. Okay, let's have a little Elementor preview of that. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, it's going to be About section next. Let's go. Okay, let's have a look at our notes here. We've got the About Us section. So this is the one on the wireframe that was showing the team members, the folks that run the bakery. So let's get back to the Elementor editing view and let me just check. Just want to, yeah, we need to change the CSS ID because that's what the anchor tag is looking for. Let's update that. And we're going to delete that little spacer there for a sec. We're going to duplicate that because we still need the contact section. And we're going to turn this into About. Let's change that to About, and that will allow the menu to run to it. We'll just update that. And we shall... Let's have a look at the wireframe again. Okay, so we need kind of... Let's get this layout sorted. We'll make that a third, 1/3. We'll get rid of the content here. And that text. Delete all that. And we'll go grab the cafe text and paste it in, and also the paragraph, paste that in, and that should give us a starting point for the blurb. Let's go get our text. Now that is quite a simple introduction to the folks. We're going to paste that in as plain text. Make sure there's no formatting issues there. I might just stick a carriage return in there so we can get a bit more height on here. Of course, this is about us. We'll update that. Now we need to put an inner section inside of here because we need 3 columns. So let's go grab an inner section. And let's add 3 columns, so an extra one there. Okay, now we've got to get our images of our staff in there. We've got those already on the files. Let's go and upload all of them, and they'll be in the team images. Let's get the Matt, Jane, and Olivia. And let's just check our text here. It is Jane first. And that, I believe, is Jane. Jane Jones. Yes, come on, Jane. Get in there. And we've got some text for you. I think we'll try it with a single text box first and then see what it looks like. Afterwards, we'll do a paragraph and we'll make that all centered. Might need to possibly break out the team member name, but let's work with that for a moment. We'll just style that. Let's get the font weight down to our normal 300 and see if Jane's name can look a little bigger. Yeah, it's too fat. We're gonna have to break that out. Let's get rid of the name and let's nick the header and stick that in underneath her, and we'll just quickly, so that'll be Jane Jones. We'll obviously make that a little on the smaller side, and we'll center that as well. That's much better, and we'll get this reverse margin on there. Let's get that a bit tighter. That's much nicer. Ooh, maybe a couple too many. Now on this image, we're going to do a little trick with the style and the border radius. If we stick that up to 180, we get a nice rounded situation going on. Little trick. I'm wondering if it's just maybe just a bit too big. I wonder actually if we do the width at 80. That, I think, because we might need to tweak the... Let's bring her name down a couple of points. Doesn't quite need to be quite as large as that. And that's looking pretty cool, though that it is looking slightly flat, that. Let's try... Okay, that's cool. Now we can just copy... We can actually delete these columns. Jane's getting larger, and then just duplicate them. And then we have 3 ready to put our other images in. There's Olivia, and there is Matt. Right, let's get some extra padding on the top there, but let's get this content alignment in the middle. See if that feels better. Yes, it does immediately. And we'll change. Oh, that's about us. It has a refresh now. Okay, let's get some margin top and bottom. Let's go. In fact, let's zero that off and put our 30 and 30, that should work for the time being. When we get the next section in, we'll double check that. Okay, happy with that. Let's get Olivia's name changed. Olivia. And Matt Smith is our last team member for the time being. Let's go get our other text for Olivia. And we'll paste that in as plain just to ensure there are no formatting issues. Let us get Matt in as well. Let's get Matt's little mini bio. He has a love affair with spreadsheets. Bless him. Right, okay. I think we do need to actually not have that margin quite so mental. Let's go up a little bit on that. Let's give that a bit of spacing. Oops, maybe 10. Right, and we'll just do copy, paste styles, paste styles. Okay, that's cool. Let's go for an Elementor preview. Yeah, that's cool. I'm a bit weirded out by the different sizes of text. We might have to find a bit more text for Jane. But we'll do that in a sec. Okay, I'm reasonably happy with that. I think we probably just need... Well, let's get the contact us in, and then we'll see how the spacing's looking in between about us and contact us. Right, contact us. Let's have a look at our wireframe for that. Right, we need a form, and we've got this information and a map. Okay, so let's go grab our form. We're going to need to go back to the Elementor. We'll just make sure we keep updating that. I'm going to use the Elementor shortcut to go to the dashboard, and we're going to go to plugins, add new, and we're going to actually add my go-to forms plugin, Ninja Forms. I used to be a bit of a contact form 7 dude, but times have changed. Installing that. Let's activate that. Great. Let's get back to our home page. And we can start customizing this contact section. So we do need the 2 columns. left and right there. But what we need in here is, well, contact us. Yeah, we're good with that. Let's copy and paste styles into that. Let us see what notes we've got. We'd love to hear from you. There's a little bit of blurb there for our... We'll paste that as plain text. And we'll just copy and paste styles of our... That's cool for time being. Now we need our form now. So let's go grab a search for our Ninja Forms widget. We'll just drop in the contact form there. Apply that. Choose our Ninja form. That'll be the Contact Me one, the one that's sort of pre-installed. And there's our form. Sometimes on Elementor you don't see it doesn't refresh. So we'll do a hard refresh in a sec. We'll click the apply button. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it doesn't. Let's update page and give that a hard refresh. We might see that form come in. I mean, sometimes it doesn't. It's a little bit temperamental, the Ninja Forms widget. Let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. We got it back. Right, so we need to do some work on some of the styling. We'll do that in a sec, and also make this a bit slicker with the labels inside the fields, etc. But we'll come back to that in a second. Let's get the rest of the text in there. So we've got the stuff here. Let's get that in. Let's copy that and paste, and then we'll paste that text as plain text. And we'll stick some carriage returns in where we need them. That should do it. Let's duplicate that. And we'll just... the address goes under the map, so we just need to remove that from there and get on map. Let's do a search for map, Google Maps. Okay, perfect. Let's see if we can style this text a bit better. Let's make open every day until in there, and let's see if we can get that font up a little bit. Let's do that. We might need to do a bit more work on that, but we'll come back to that. Let's get that font size up as well. What was that? That was, let's make it 24. And let's just play with the line height just a bit. There you go, perfect. Right, let's copy and paste the style onto that, so that's matching. Paste style onto that, so that's matching. Okay, perfect. Obviously, that's a fictitious address, so we can't actually get that on the map, but some of you might know the postcode. Okay, so that is all good. Now we just need to get this Ninja Forms looking a little bit smarter. Let's update our page and let's shortcut to the dashboard where we will find our Ninja Forms link, and let's go and edit the contact form. Just going to do a very quick... Not now, Ninja Forms. Okay, let's start with going to the Advanced tab, and we'll go to Display Settings, and we'll choose not to display the form title. And we'll hit the Advanced tab, and we'll put the label position hidden. And then if we go back to our form fields, and we just clear out the put that in the placeholder. Same with email, placeholder, same with message. That should work. Let's go back to our admin. Okay, edit with Elementor, the mighty Elementor. Yeah, so Ninja Forms sometimes plays a little bit tricky with Elementor. So we're going to actually have to hide these labels with a bit of CSS. So we're just going to go to the sort of Elementor preview mode, and we're going to inspect that label, and we're just going to add, let's just get that back into view, just a bit of CSS to display none. That's better. Copy that, and then we're going to go to the page itself. If we exit to the WordPress page, and close our inspector up now. we can actually add just a little bit of CSS to this page. These are other options for Cento theme. Let's get the none in there actually. Update that. Back to our edit with Elementor. So let's have a look, see if we've done well with our labels. Yes, we have. Great stuff there. Okay, let's just have a little tidy up of this. I think we probably need a spacer above there. Get that sort of in line with the top of that. So that's cool. And I think if we just get onto our map and we just bring that margin up in line with the top of that first field, that makes that a bit sweeter. And then the bottom there is, if we just make the height just a teeny bit more than it was, or less than that, so that address falls on that same line. I think that looks sweet. Okay, so we are pretty much done on the main build. We've got this footer here, which actually should be this stuff here, but let's not worry too much about that. But we have got one slight aspect to this, but we've missed the trick with our alternate styles of sections. Let us preview that and see if we can live with that, or in actual fact we do need to make that a different style of section. Well, first up, I think we need to get rid of this footer part because that actually is not in use anymore. And we can do that by going to the customizer. And we'll just go to our global sections and we'll just untick the footer. There we go. And that will remove that. Publish that. And lo and behold, our footer has now departed. Let's preview that in Elementor. There's a whole page. And there we go. Goodness me, we've actually got the entire thing nailed. Our bread, about us, contact us. I kind of like the fact that it stays white. I think we just need to tweak some of the spacings here. So let's add a bit of padding on that column. Let's take everything up to 10. Which is a default, and then on the left-hand side, let's put, say, 60. Oh, sorry, not left. We want right. 60. Yeah, that's cool. And I think some more margin at the top of this section here. Let's unlink those and just go up until we feel we've got enough space. Okay, let's update that. And let's preview that again. Yeah, that feels, it's got a bit more breathing room, right? Yeah, I kind of like the whole white experience on the way down there. Kind of keeps it as the sort of info area. Okay, cool. So that is it on the main build. Oh, hang on. I'll tell you what I fancy doing. Just want to, this is all too small and feels like it's not really space enough. So let's do some work on this. I wonder we could maybe get that style on the typography a little larger. I'm wondering if it goes onto 2 lines. Yes, because it needs to grab the user's attention as soon as they kind of see it. So let's get that a bit closer. That works. Okay, and I wonder if we do the same with this. Slightly longer lines, but we could get them onto 2 and potentially, yeah, I like that. Maybe we need it on, I was wondering we should bring in the left and right padding a bit. Undo those. Bottom 0, top 0. Yeah, that feels like it's... Right, let's give this a little bit more of that bigger action. Get that onto... Yeah. Yeah, because you want that's the call to action for the call. All right, I think we need to up the ante on these guys as well. This is starting to feel a little bit more like it's going to grab the user's attention. Let's go up to 20 on that. And again, that can come down a little bit so that we kind of get that spacing. And this, of course, now needs to be vertically aligned in the middle. That is a ton better. Let's preview that. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was missing. Okay, so let's have a look through. So we've got the cafe, our bread, about, oh, hang on, the about us and the contact needs to be in uppercase to keep our vibe going. And contact us. Update that. Okay, cool. Let's re-review that from the tippy top. Jones, bakery and cafe, call to action, bit about the cafe. Oh, hang on, I've seen something else. This is called tweaking, by the way. Let's, I think this is all a bit too left, so let's get on that and let's get some padding on the left-hand side. So let's go make that 80. Yeah. Almost want to go text align center, but I think that might be. Yeah, that's so much better. A little miniature tweak. That's okay. Kind of feeling this is, again, too high. Let's just put a bit more top padding on that. Let's make that all 10, which is the default. It takes us back to where we were, actually. Linked. Unlink, and let's get that padding, pushing that down. Maybe we need to just push this one up a little bit. Yeah, that's okay. I think we can live with that. Back to our preview. Okay, cool. We've got the... that's what's going on there. They're not completely aligned on the top. So let's just independently bring her down so it feels like they're all kind of centering rather than... Yeah, that's cool. I think we should probably get the bios at the same length so that they'll look a little bit more cool. A couple more words about Jane might be needed there. So let's go back to preview. We've got our map. Now that's a bit of a boring map, very standard. Let's see if we can just make that a little bit in keeping with the style. So what we do here is we go to style, CSS filters, and we just drop the saturation down just to take the edge off the Google-ness of it. And I think that's a ton better. Okay, back to the preview. Of course, we'd have to update our copyright and our privacy policy. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the entire site built. We do, however, need to look at what this baby looks like in the mobile environment. Now, Elementor very beautifully does this with the way that you can preview stuff in the different browser modes. And you can see here already this is clearly not the right vibe going on here. So we would need to look at that. And same with the cafe section on the tablet. We go into the phone view. Let's look at that. Yeah, we've got spacing issues on the phone view. Obviously the lunch chalkboard looks better. Everything else looks cool. So yeah, let's get on to tweaking this for the mobile views. Okay, let's tweak away. Let's start with opening up the editor again. And we will start by getting a bit of space here when we are on mobile. So if we just flick back to desktop view, we'll go grab a spacer and we'll throw that in. here, and we will go to the Advanced tab, and we will hide it on desktop and on tablet. Let's go back to our mobile view. So now that's much better. In fact, we can actually probably go a bit taller on the spacer when it's in that view, so we've got the kind of just the text, and you've got to scroll down a bit further. Okay, liking that. Let us scroll down and see if we've got any other mobile related issues. No, everything's looking cool. Might need to look at the spacing on that. That could possibly, on mobile, we need to definitely give that a little tweak so that we've got a slightly better framed top picture. Let's keep scrolling. Any other issues on the mobile view? Not so far. Cafe. Okay, so this is the massive bit of left-hand side that we added to space that out on desktop. Let's keep that on the 10 standard for mobile. Our bread looking cool. Now the image is slightly strange. Now what is weird is these thumbnails. So we need to actually change these thumbnails to a larger thumbnail, because there were the 150 thumbnails. We actually need to change to the 350, and that way when they're on a mobile they'll look a little bit better. We also need to space those out. I think the fact they were the 150 thumbnails that were spread across was ever so slightly misleading on the desktop view. So, and also we see we've got some variable padding here as well. Let's just up that to 20. And also on that section we had some, oh no, it was on the column. We had, if you recall, we had on the margin, see these minus figures. That's going to cause problems at mobile view. So let's just 0 that at mobile view, and then we get our nicely centered view. Let's keep scrolling. Any other issues to resolve? That's all looking fine. About us needs to definitely have the margin zeroed at mobile. Maybe not quite zeroed, but certainly not the 40 or 50 that it was. That's cool. There's Jane, Olivia, and Matt. Same with the contact us. Let's put them in at 15 on the mobile view. And then we had the padding for the contact us part of the form part was also. Now I don't like that being on 2 lines. So even though it's a font size change, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it just to stop it falling onto 2 lines on the mobile. Okay, that's cool. Form's cool. Okay, this line height needs to be sorted for mobile. So let's go on to that. Oh, that's letter spacing. Let's get that there, and maybe 1.2. And this space needs to reduce significantly on the mobile. Map's still fine. This also needs to be line height on mobile slightly taller, and that's cool. All right, so that's the mobile sorted out. Let's see how that transpires to tablet. I'm going to go up 1 level. We know desktop's looking cool, so just the tablet to do now. Right. So for me, I don't think this is really going to work. Yes, if they flipped their tablet horizontally, yes, of course, it's going to look tons better. But we've got to build for the fact that they were going to be looking at it in this view to begin with. So in that case, what I suggest here is that on tablet view, we go 100% for both those columns. And you see that way we've got the content in 1 row, and the same with the chalkboard, which still looks cool like that. Now, what we don't want to do now is remove this space on tablet. So let's just untick that hide. By the way, it always kind of shows on the preview. It's kind of one of those sort of, if you didn't see it, you wouldn't know it's there kind of thing when you're editing. You get me? All right, so that's updated now. Happy with that. Maybe we add just a little more on tablet. We add a little bit of padding to the bottom of this column. So if we do it go, say 30, that's just going to space that out a little bit better. That's better. All right, so the cafe, now that's another disaster area. Let's have a look at this gallery. Yeah, the unfortunate thing being is you can't choose the columns on a responsive level. Methinks that should be something for you to do, Elementor. So we're going to have to go with that same vibe where we change the column widths to 100 and the same with the cafe. That's 100 as well on tablet. And also we do need now, we definitely need to lose that margin on that column as well. So the padding, so we'll put that back to regular 10. The other thing is that we really want that cafe intro above the images in my view. So what we'll need to do is on our section, on the responsive, reverse the columns on tablet. And I think we should probably do that for mobile too. And then of course you've got a slightly better flow to the actual page. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff from Elementor. Let's also sort out the padding on the bottom of that. Let's give that a little bit more on the bottom of it. And we could probably, on the margin, just do that, but maybe make sure there's some on the bottom. We probably need some on the bottom there. Yes, we do. So let's leave the 30 on the bottom, or maybe 20. Let's go 20. Okay, our bread is actually looking okay. Like I said, the only thing we might need to do is on the column, which we had the funky margins, we'll set all those to 0, and that will recenter that. And I'm cool with that. That's cool. Right, about us on the tablet, yes, we definitely need to 0 the top and bottom. Also, yes. I think actually we need to do the same here with the widths of the columns. On the tablet we go 100, and the same with those guys. It's too squidgy, unfortunately. That's better. Let's just add in some of that top and bottom. Don't need it at the bottom, just a little bit of margin at the top. 30. Give that some space. Oh yes, okay. And okay, so the contact us, yeah, it's kind of okay. I think we do the same thing with this. In fact, if we just lose the padding to space it, that'll actually get that onto there. And in this view, because we don't have surrounding space, I think that spacer on tablet should be 0. And I think with this, we just need to get this line height again for that style. Let's go grab the line. I think it was 1.2 was the better situation, and we'll just copy and paste styles onto that. And that's it. We're cool. Let's go for a full review in tablet view. Jones, yes. It's potential that I think we might add some overall padding for this. Left and right on here. Let's go 30 and 30 just to kind of bring that in. Oh, that's not 30. That is. Yeah, you see how that just brings it in a little bit. Makes it preview that again. Frames it a little better, I reckon. Okay, that was all looking mighty fine. Okay, probably a few other bits and pieces there, but I am more than happy with that. All right, so there you go. From blank starter kit to finished beautiful website. What do you reckon? Test it out yourself, grab a copy of Cento, follow along with the tutorial, and let me know how you get on in the comments below. But until next time, I shall see you later.